Hello, everyone, and welcome back for our next win and in match. We have two more players at 4-on-1. We have Tina Head here on the bottom of our screens and Ricochet here at the top.
And something to note about this match, this is a win and in for top 8, and we have two players that are not even in Cosmic yet.
Yeah, so remember, these bash tournaments that are $1,000 cash prizes every single week are open entry. You just need a standard legal constructed deck, and no experience or anything like that required. Just a 700 plat entry fee, and you too could be playing a win and income this time next week.
So even if the ladder's not for you, you can still sign up for the bash.
So a pretty quick redraw here on the bottom. I like that they had some Ruby cards that they could play out, but were missing one of their thresholds.
Yep.
Looks like we have Redlings versus Turbo PA up here on top.
Yep. And something that a very minor sequencing thing that comes up in Redlings. So right there we saw trying to just lead off on the Ruby Shard using the Cryptdust to make red or Ruby, but if you already know that Cryptdust is going to be a blood threshold, that you can go ahead and make a blood with it, because if you end up drawing another Cryptdust at the top of your deck, you can add Ruby with it, and then that's basically an extra Ruby that you're netting later on for your Matriarch of Flames. So small sequencing thing just to get a very minor edge in the late game.
So you see here the Wicked Web Spawn come down along with the Blood Ice, and then the Emperor's Lackey gets into the red zone here. We saw our Xenia Blood Fist here again. This is one of those kind of Dreadling payoff replacements, and the lack of Lasgar's Vengeance being no longer in the format.
Yep. So, yeah, the crush on Zanya being really big. The crush kind of acts as pseudo reach because it lets you attack through blockers later on.
Yep.
To get the last couple points.
And I like here we saw Tina Head wait a turn on their champion activation. Not only does this allow it to give Emperor's Lackey an additional power and defense back, but because of Underworld Crusader, we're actually going to get an additional Dreadling here.
Right.
JK.
And, yeah, I was about ready to say it also additionally has the benefit of being one of my bingo squares. Okay. But the Runebind.
You already lost the bingo, Klutz. Give it up.
The Runebind's crushing my hope. I can be the first loser.
I can be the first. Lord knows my bingo card is not about to get there.
I do. I have a track record of coming in second place, so I am.
And see Cosmic calling there at the end of turn, picking up a Light the Votives here for Ricochet. Ooh. And Ricochet's turn is about to be very, very good.
Oh yeah, the PA deck's the Turbo PA deck gonna go a little nuts this turn. We're gonna have the 0 cost Silver Talon. We're gonna have the Heart of Whisper coming down for just 1. So.
And again, the Cyclone Shapers making all of these cards cost 0. So if we hit another Light the Votives here, we'll be able to play the second Consult the Talons this turn.
We have not acted in so Light the Votives. Light the Votives is going to make 2, and we still have a Cassia activation. So we have another Consult coming down potentially if they want it.
Yep. This is again one of those really powerful turn 4s this deck is able to generate pretty consistently. Yep. Another Consult the Talons. Well, Now, if they find one more Light the Votives off this Consult, they can play the third Consult with that.
Yep.
And you can see how this deck just kind of like snowballs as it's going off here.
Yeah, the ability to turn your little dorks into resources, basically.
We get 2 more Light the Votives, Klutz.
Of course he did. Oh.
This one makes 3. This is turn 4 again for the Turbo PA player here.
And Ricochet just lighting candles for Trying to Head's funeral. Because no, it's in all seriousness, it's very hard for the Redlings deck to come back from a board that's gone this wide. It would be a different story if Ricochet was at a lower life total, but 15 is very hard to punch through with this amount of blockers.
Oh, 5 more candles,
and we. And we have the Cosmic Calling that's going to come down for free, and find another card that it will also likely make free since it has that Mobilize. So
yeah, find a Heart's Whisper, or God forbid the 4th Consult here, and we're just going to continue just like chaining through our deck.
Yeah, it's all but over here. There's not in a Lasgar's Vengeanceless world. There's not much the Redlings deck can do to.
Did we find the Heart's Whisper there? Is this mobilizing here? It is.
Oh,
yep.
Of course it is.
Yep. So they're going to see this come down. It costs 2 cheaper from the Cyclone Shapers, and the Mobilize makes it completely free. Pick up 2 more cards here.
Ricochet showing us how it's done here on turn 4. But
wait, there's more.
There's more. I was about ready to say, man.
I'm really in it for this, for the 4th the fourth consult of talents that show up here. That's what I enjoy. Just
right.
like
It's the value play would be to take it over a Psychic Ascension.
I would definitely take it over a Psychic Ascension. Just not close.
Oh, if he's the real people's champion, we could guidance into guidance here.
I'd get a fourth square if that happens.
Yes, you would. Oh, nope.
That's pretty unlucky. We can't draw any more cards.
It's a shame he's just gonna have to pass now.
And this really exemplifies one of the reasons why this Turbo PA deck is really good, is because they technically didn't go off this turn fully, right?
Nope.
Like, we didn't hit Psychic Ascension, but we still just have, like, this really dominating board state on the back of Light the Votives.
Oh, yeah, and that's another reason why Cassia Golden Knight was just a fantastic change in champion, because this deck used earlier on in the meta, this deck was typically playing, like, Dreaming Fox or just some other basically just a champion with a high life total. But this really, the Illuminate 1 on the champion power, not only does that help with the Mobilize, but these Light the Votives draws like this, it can just say, all right, all my idiots are 2/2s now.
Attack.
Hit F4. Which is just great.
See a pretty brutal Transmogrifate again, costing 0, thanks to just turn your 4/4 into a 1/1.
Yep.
Block with my candle. Am I allowed to do that?
But the Whimsy Witch showing why it's typically best to transmog after they attack.
Yes, exactly. Occasionally, there's the small edge that you transmogrifate them into a non-troop card so they don't get an assault trigger.
Right.
But with Lasgard's Vengeance out of the format, I think the upside is definitely in waiting.
Yeah.
So a couple of 4/4s come down here, but they're kind of embarrassing against this board that the Turbo Pay players built up.
Oh, what do we got here? So likely just going to see, unfortunately it doesn't have any more card draw in the bank, so going to get to Fate Weave a non-resource and play that Thunderfield Seer.
Should generate some card draw for us here.
Yep.
I wouldn't even be too surprised if we see like an Evaporate and then a Smash with Everything here, just like trading one candle for a bunch of damage, just like kill them in 2 swings. Yeah, it's exactly what's happening.
Same idea. You've got 2 free room binds in your hand as protection. I don't think that you're worried about too much. So,
and that's one of the reasons why Evaporate's so powerful in this Turbo PA deck, is it's a free card when your Cyclone Shaper is out that can tempo their aggression or their blockers, or save your Cyclone Shaper in response to a piece of removal.
So.
One little candle gets eaten.
Yep.
And the rest, like...
I'm not going to count that. I'm going to let the game count it. All right.
You know what the best part about digital card games is? You just attack with everything and it sorts itself out.
Yep.
That's just the best. Let's kind of head on back to the booth here while we queue up the second game. So, when I was looking at this Redlings deck on paper, I thought, this Turbo PA matchup has to be good, right? It's got like all of these Blight Knights and it's got these Inquisitors, but like watching it today, it hasn't really felt that way.
So, one of the things, I'm of the opinion that Blight Knight isn't the best card for Redlings in this matchup, because they typically have all these extra bodies laying around, and if Blight Knight's not the most aggressive creature you can play on turn 2, especially when they have all these 1/1s in their deck.
Like Thunderfield Seers, or if they play a Light the Votives ahead of time.
So, and like that Light the Votives draw there, what if they just have Noxious Glory out of their reserves? They can't. And if you draw Noxious Glory, you can clean up all the...
you would rather have a Noxious Glory than a...
Yeah, because Noxious Glory, not only does it clean up all the candles, the Psychic Ascension draft leavings, it also gets rid of the Cyclone Shapers too, because they only have 2 power. So I think it's a reserve card not a lot of people are utilizing right now.
Interesting. Well, let's head back on down to the feature area and see if Tyna Head's going to be able to catch back up to the 1-0 lead that Ricochet has.
Yeah. Turn 2 Blight Knight.
Turn 2 Blight Knight on the play explicitly.
Yep. Huge, especially with that Light the Votives in hand. So.
Yep, and we see here, because this is a Diamond Dice, this is a slow shard, so this Light the Votives isn't going to be playable until the second turn.
Right.
So Blight Knight, while not good as a reactive card, being proactive on turn 2 with it is pretty good.
Yep. Yeah, pretty hard pressed to see
Culmination in Blood. Okay.
Yep, I was about to say I would be pretty hard pressed to not see it. What?
So this, again, for those at home, this is a small bug in the replay client. When a card ends the game with a counter on it, it's going to show that counter on it from the start. So this card likely gets transmogrifated into an outpost. Having done coverage a couple of times now, likely going to get transmogrifated. Spoilers.
Spoiler alerts.
We have a really good draw from the Dynahead side of the table, though. We're going to get to slam a Crusader this turn and like bash in for 7 here. And worth noting that Ricochetti's Diamond Ice got another Diamond Ice, so we can't Transmogrify this turn.
And it's really...
Is that a third Diamond Ice?
Of course it is.
All right.
And activating Ivan there is typically a really hard call because with the Redlings deck, you always want to keep your pre-combat scrounge for the next turn in mind.
Okay.
And they have the Wicked Web Spawn in hand already. So there's a chance that just by... It ended up being good for him to wait, but there's always that... You always have to keep that in mind when you're playing the deck. Like, do I want this troop in my crypt for next turn, or do I want to wait and see if I can get better activation? Because...
And we can see here, Dynahead presenting lethal as soon as next turn. 4th Diamond Ice.
There we go.
We found a Sapphire, but this does not let us play Cyclone Shapers this turn.
No, it does not.
It lets us Transmogrifade this Blight Knight, and then Light the Votives, I guess. We use our Champion Power to make another blocker.
Oh, it's like you've done this before.
I'm so good at this.
Man.
It's powerful.
Valorous Underworld Troop is a square, and we now have...
Spoilers, this ends at one counter.
Why do you have to... Like, I had every little bit of hope that I had there.
It's now crushed to Underheal. This Zanya is basically just lethal, right? They have a Runebind. Sure. Zanya, I feel like that's a card that's got to come out in this matchup, right? Against the Runebind deck?
Yeah, not great.
Gruesome Deed's an interesting one to have.
Good at punching through candles. But just Runebind is...
Pretty brutal.
Yep.
That being said, like, if they're runebinding this, they're not runebinding one of these other 4/4s, so, like, 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other.
Yep. But so we're going to get the Runebind there, and then we're going to get the likely double chump block on the candles, which does take that culmination down to 6. Which
I like the single chump block here.
Single, yeah.
Like, remember, your candles are resources, effectively, right?
You're absolutely right. Yep. I don't have... Okay.
That's definitely what that head needed there was another resource. And I'm back to the booth.
Ascension.
Another Psychic Ascension, yep, you know. Had 2 pair. I don't know how they could lose. Head back on down to another game 3. Winning in matches need to be game 3s. It keeps the tension higher. We haven't seen a lot of game 3s today, so...
Yep.
Let's head back on down to the feature match area. We're tied up 1-1 here. We've Ricochet relocated to the bottom of our screen here.
Ooh, Ricochet is a... Did it get Cosmic in one season? What season are those beautiful Cottontail Explorer sleeves
2016 ladder season number 3.
Ooh.
And we have a pretty reasonable hand here from Ricochet. We've got some early Thunderfields here as Trump blockers and Into the Unknown to deal with a hate card like a Blight Knight or, say, the Inquisitor of Lumos.
So... With the, I'm forgetting the name, but how do you feel that new Frostform troop? How do you think that's going to be as a Thunderfield Seer replacement? The 1/1, it's a 1/4 for 3, but you can Frostform it to.
Oh, and it makes an action.
Yeah,
card's interesting.
Yeah,
it technically replaces itself. And as someone who hates the card Dream Call, it hurts me to say this, but the fact that it can make a Dream Call might actually be what makes it really playable.
Right. It's. Well, I mean, you don't have to register Dream Call if you're regenerating it, which is a bro. But yeah, that's been one of the more interesting spoilers to me so far. Looks if trying to head here with a very aggressive curve, assuming he gets to play, he draws a resource to turn it on.
Yep.
And he's gonna need it.
We found a Cyclone Shaper off of this Hearts Whisper though, so if we find like Consult the Talons, the Ricochet is definitely going to be able to come off it. Okay. We found a third resource.
Yep. And it something that's an important combo here out of the Redlings deck is they get to sacrifice that Phoenix on the opponent's turn.
Oh.
So that's...
Also worth noting here that we have things like... Oh, okay, so we're runebinding this. I was going to say, Eager Lackey technically protects this Underworld Crusader against cards like Into the Unknown, but Runebind taking that out of the way makes that less of a case.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that Runebind on that target there. We're going to hit him for 5. And then if we Into the Unknown here, we're going to get this other Underworld Crusader out of Dynahead's hand as well.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's always hard to efficiently remove the Underworld Crusader when it and Naive Lackey are doing the buddy system.
Yep.
It's very aggressive. always been the most aggressive Redlings opener.
All right, I like this. Ricochet choosing to advance their own board as opposed to trying to interact with the opponents. Mm-hmm. They know that they're the combo deck and they're not dead this next turn, so we should try and get our stuff going on.
Yep. Oh, we have that. We do have that second ruby, which means that Phoenix is active.
Yep. Choosing to play Crusader out here and get aggressive. How do you feel about the full-arted, non-full-arted split on the Crusaders?
No comment. I am not an extended art fan myself, but if you're gonna pick, you can't sit on the fence. You got to pick a side.
I gotta fall over in one direction or the other.
Yep. Yeah. So.
All right, guidance for guidance. Yo, dog.
Yo. Oh, come on. Oh God. Ooh.
That's probably the beginning of the end.
Yeah,
we're going to play out the second Cyclone Shaper here.
Second Cyclone Shaper into I
think you just consult for one, right? You just pay one resource and mobilize two things.
I could see that. It's really a shame that when Consult the Talons is cost reduced, you don't get resources back from mobilize. I feel like that's what it really needs.
All right, and we see a Light Devoted here for just one candle, or is it two at this point? I think it's just one. Just one. So we have Thunderfield Seer out here as well. And then we get to Consult for free again.
Yep.
Just really the people's cards here.
Yep, and we're going to have a free rune bind. At the bare minimum, we have a free rune bind and a 1-cost Into the Unknown to keep
That's a safe. Prophesized Light Devoted Seer. So it's going to draw a card.
Yep. And if anyone who, I believe that's on the loser's card, redraw a Prophesized Escalate card. But that's on the card that shall not be named. So. Oh man, let's see what gets him. I don't really think much gets him out of this unless he.
Again, here we have kind of breaking off on the Cassidy Gold Knight side of the table. This Phoenix alongside the Emperor's he might be able to do some good cleanup.
He has the ability. He can always Into the Unknown the Lackey in response. Oh, forgot about. So we did have that Underworld Crusader off to the side. That's important to note. So and the culmination doesn't even really do a lot here.
Yep.
Because there's not a lot of action. It's all interaction. There's not any more.
Yeah, and if your opponent had more things to combo off with, they would have just kept going, right?
Right. So
I wonder if we're going to see an aggressive bin this to draw more resources and try and end one of these. I don't think we can make this playable this turn, right? So we could get it down to 6. I guess we could attack and initiate some blockers too.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can get a chump block on a candle.
You can play this. If they don't Into the Unknown in response here, they're going to... smart money Into the Unknown to this Emperor's Lucky in response here.
Oh... Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
Are you feeling it? So that's going to wipe the board, which makes these culminations very free.
Very free.
The free. You're going to rune bind the first culmination and feel kind of okay, maybe we didn't get got.
So a little bit of flavor fail by Hexent here. That the candle, the art doesn't change to a pool of wax when they are killed by a ruby removal spell.
We see the Into the Unknown here. Probably see a sack on the Emperor's Lucky.
Almost assuredly here.
Yep. I really like how Thinahead has played this game. They've played this game very well in a lot of tight spots.
Yeah, definitely playing to their outs.
They're not out of the woodwork yet by any means. A Psychic Ascension off the top, another Consult the Talons or a Heart's Whisper is going to snowball really quickly for Ricochet.
Yeah,
here.
We have there's a console culmination under that rune as well. So even if he does have a chance to rebuild here,
correct. We need to hit Psychic Ascension this turn.
Yep.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Psychic Ascension definitely castable if drawn. Let's see, getting in there. Do you like attacking with both? I feel like
with the Wicked Web Spawn out, we're probably supposed to leave at least one back.
Yeah, I feel like we're not favorably trading damage here.
This is going to be pretty close to a lethal turn.
Yep.
This is a culmination under here, too.
Yep. Okay.
Runebind the web spawn. We're still taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here.
Runebinding the... I think I runebind the motor trike there. Same... You still...
Same result. Save some points of health.
Yeah.
And you, like, build off the rage, right?
Yeah, I don't...
Delay the rage build up. If we would have left this back, we could have runebound this. If we left both these back, we could have, like, taken 3 less damage here.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not... Cosmic Call... Oh, is that draw? I think that's prophesized, right? That like, looked like it... Oh, it looked like it had some extra text. So...
I like paying a resource for this here.
Yep. Yeah, those bodies are worth more on a consult.
Because if we mobilize this, is that the prophesized? That's the prophesized Candlemaker.
Yes, it is.
If there was ever a card that could get us back in this game, it was that, not into a shard.
Yep.
We do have a lot of jump blocks here, though. So, and now I'll be pretty... I think you hold back the Cyclone Shaper at this point. And imagine, like, if Ricochet just had, 3 more points of health to work with from leaving these Cyclone Shapers back last time, we'd be in a much better spot.
Yep. Rust Bucket. Oh, man. Next turn, if he doesn't... Is he dead?
We're not quite dead. We have four blockers.
And it's a very good play by trying ahead. I don't think enough people do that. So Rust, it's tempting to Rust Bucket Distractor the Cyclone Shaper because it's the bigger troop, but making it so the throwaway troop can't be thrown away and they potentially have to block with the Cyclone Shaper instead. It's a very heads up play.
Yep. And again, this makes them go down to 2, which means even if Ricochet combos off next turn, they're still going to have Necropolis coins as an out on the Thina side of the board.
Yep. So the Cyclone Shapers weren't forced to chump this turn, but it means they're more likely to chump in the future as a result. That's a very heads up play. So, and
no justice, no justice, no justice, no justice, no justice. Are we dead?
I can empower it. I think
we're dead, right? We're just dead. This can't block, and they've got 4 attackers here.
Just dead.
4 lethal attackers.
All right. Yep. So.
And again, if we would have runebound the other thing, this wouldn't have been building rage. There would have been a wicked web spawn out. We'd have had less. I think we'd be like plus 5 or 6 points of health, which means we wouldn't be dead this turn, and then we could have potentially redraws next turn to combo off.
And this was a win inning, correct?
This was a win inning. So Thina Head's gonna go ahead and catapult into the top 8 here. It looks like.
Cool. Yeah. Thina Head and Cyrus showing us that Redlings is not dead yet.
Yep. I mean, and that's 3. This is 3 bashes in a row, right? Like Sirius top 8 of the last 2 bashes with this deck. I'm not sure how Sirius is doing in this tournament, but Thina Head puts this Redlings deck into the top 8. Cool. 3 for 3 here.
Cool.
So congrats to Thina Head as we head on back to the booth here, and we'll be live with some top 8 quarterfinal feature matches here very soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. Again, remember, everyone. All donations going to Extra Life today, and raffle at the end. So make sure to put your name in the donation when you make it.
Cool.
We'll be back soon.